Mahelino and Jipsy. This is early on Sunday morning. Like I'm not going to lie, 7 o'clock. It was even a bit early for me, and I thought Jipsy will never make it. She'll want to sleep in. You're very good to get up early. Do you normally wake at this time up there in Tokelau?
No, not at all.
Not at all. Well, that's real dedication. It's so lovely to see you both again, and we need an update from you, Mahelino, on the New Zealand people need to know exactly what's going on, because we're waiting and waiting, but there is wonderful news that we in New Zealand will soon be able to welcome you home. The Patelesios are coming home to New Zealand, which is where you were living before you decided to go back to your ancestral lands, wasn't it, Mahelino? This really is your home.
That's correct, Liz. Both Anna and I left the island. She was 3 and I was nearly 12. And it's really good. I've only been back once in 1999 with my father then, and 2 of our children.
You've only been back to Tokelau once. You only went back once.
Before, yes. And but coming back this time, I was hoping that it would be a good experience, but after 5 or so years, things turned like everywhere else in the world. And now we're considering seriously. That includes me. I wasn't looking forward to leaving, but I need to be with my family in case anything happens to them. I don't want to be sitting here and hearing about it. That's basically where we're at the moment.
You want to honor your ancestors. You always have, haven't you? You were one of the tupolenga. You were one of the leaders. And you, in the early days of the rollout of this jab, you said, we must listen to our ancestors rather than a bunch of politicians, many of whom could be corrupt. That you said something like that to them, didn't you?
Absolutely. If they didn't understand what I said or meant, I think they're understanding now that very point. I still want to all the way. I wanted to honor our ancestors, our tupunes. And to me, this situation is completely foreign for the Tapulenga to rule the way it did. For me, looking around the room in the council, I could not fathom where they get their information from, whether they look into it themselves. I seriously doubt it. They just listen to what they were told.
And for people who are not familiar, we'll add the earlier, with all the details of that, we'll add the earlier interviews underneath, Mahelino. But it's been a long, long time, including being locked inside that house for well over a year. Jipsy, when you listen to your parents, do you feel such admiration for the leadership and the strength of them? It's been a hard time for you as a teenager, but what do you feel looking at even now listening to Mahelino, his strength, his leadership, his courage?
They're very strong. I'll give him that. He's stubborn sometimes. That can be funny. But yeah, he's very inspiring.
And now you and Anna, your dear mum, this beautiful artist, you're inspiring him to come home. What does it mean to you, Jipsy, to be coming home to New Zealand?
It means the world to me.
Why?
I miss that place so much. Because most of the people I'm close with are there.
Because you grew up here.
Yeah.
I thought the pineapple pie place that you loved was in Lower Hutt for some reason, or was it in Porirua as well?
Yeah.
You love those New Zealand pineapple pies. Well, we're so looking forward to you coming home, but you are going to be staying in the North Island with friends. And we are going to have you, Mahelino, at a wonderful week of welcoming, of healing, of remembering, of celebrating the communal survival of all Kiwis who were ostracized. But when I say it's a week of welcoming, we are going to ask if your family, as much as you want to, if you will be our honored guests at a get-together from the 1st to the 5th of March in Danniverke. Are you aware of all those plans, Mahelino?
When I first heard it, I have to admit, normally I would shy away, but after, it didn't take me long to reconsider what a beautiful opportunity for us to thank a whole lot of people, to even begin to thank a whole lot of people from New Zealand that we haven't even met yet. To get that opportunity during that week would be fabulous.
You've beat me to the post, because it was what I wanted to say, for us to thank you for your courage, for your inspiration, Mahelino. There'll be many Kiwis who want to come to Danniverke to remember what happened a year ago, the beauty of the Freedom Village and the freedoms we all felt we could grow together in the face of tyranny, and then to mourn the terrors rolled out by the government and by the police on March the 2nd. But you are going to be this wonderful icing on the cake of unifying New Zealand again and celebrating our courage. So many Kiwis, even if you come for the day, many will want to come and meet you all. I worry about you being a bit overwhelmed because it's been so quiet up there. You haven't had many people at your door, Jipsy. Do you think you'll be okay with a big crowd?
Yeah, I'm excited to be around people again.
So take us now, Mahelino, to the practicalities of what's gone on. Let's have an update since I last spoke to Jipsy and Anna, and we will put that up. We've had some real trouble with the editing of it because the communications that day, I think we tried about 7 or 8 times, didn't we, Jipsy, to get something in the recording, and it's not good quality, but we will put that up. And you were basically saying then, Jipsy, you just wanted to come home. Now, what's happened? You've had to apply for passports again, haven't you, Mahelino?
I regret leaving it too late after we were out of Tunoa in September.
After Tunoa, which was the lockdown for over a year, which you were put through an imprisonment, in effect, the whole family, for saying no to the jab. You were the only ones on Nukunonu who said no. After that, what, did you come out and realize the passports, your New Zealand passports, had lapsed?
Yes, Gypsy's passport had lapsed. And looking at our ones, because she is now considered an adult at 16, she needed to submit an adult application. So we did that. We decided to go through the office, local office, because we weren't sure about what addressing had to be put on the application if we did it online. And plus the payments, we wanted to do that all ourselves. Unfortunately, the photograph that was okayed online was deemed not good enough by our office. So we had to get somebody from them to come and take the photograph again, and we submitted it to him, I think the last week, the week just before Christmas. We submitted it, paid for it, and that's where we're at the moment. I will be going to the office at the end of this week. Why? Because they're currently going through election, local elections mid next week on the 26th, and follow up the person who's dealing with it locally to get on to what's happening to the passport.
It all feels very much a pattern. We found that a lot of things were slowed down during that whole process where we had to bring in lawyers to make sure that the Tunoa was going to be lifted. There were a lot of games, but I won't go into that aspect of it in this interview. Those things, I don't want anything else to be used in this interview to slow down your exit from the island. So let's just look at the facts. You're waiting for the passport for Jipsy. What happens as soon as you get that passport? Have you already boarded up the house, Mahelino? That's my understanding.
Yes, for the last month or so, Kaloy and I have been doing our best to board up and secure the especially the louvers around the windows. Surprise, surprise. The way it is locally, things have a way of walking away.
Once Jipsy's passport comes in, we then have to get you off the island. What does this take? You have to get a boat, don't you? You can't fly directly.
No, not yet. We have to let the office know again and keep following up when and ask when an available space would be for the four of us to travel safely to Samoa to start with, yes, and then onwards.
How long is that boat trip?
Finally to meet George there. If it's the faster boat, it takes 24 hours. If it's the bigger freighter, it would be a couple of days.
If there's anybody coming into the area on a large enough boat themselves, a yacht or a large enough boat that could take all four of you, would you be willing to go with someone else if that came sooner, Mahelino?
We'll be on it before he knows.
It would be incredible, because I've had people write and say over the months saying, I'm going to be going that way. Shall I call in and pick them up? Of course, we didn't have you out of the Tunoa at that stage, and there were all sorts of other hurdles you had to get through, least among them this passport. The trouble with the boat, there is a bit of a problem with it. What is that issue with the emergency evacuations? Do they take priority?
You said it. It is the priority. Only a week or so ago, Anna found a message on the government website apologizing to the public, local public of the 3 atolls, that another medevac has happened, and I imagine all the scheduling for passengers would be delayed for up to 5 days or a week.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the situation with what happens to the schedule. And then the other factor, of course, is the weather, and that tends to slow things up quite a bit.
When is the best part of the year, the safest part? If we have to, we might have to get a flotilla of Kiwi boaties coming up to rescue you. But is this a good time of year to come up, Mahelino?
This is the storm season, maybe November to March or April. It's that's when the wind changes to the stormy direction, to the west. Yeah, so this is not a good time to travel.
If any,
I found that out going out. I got a picture of that when Kaloy and I went out with a kindly father that offered to us to go fishing on the ocean side, and we had the opportunity to see nature. The sea was moderate that day, but there was this particular point of the atoll that is usually rough. and I felt humility when I saw nature at its moderate state. It's astounding. We went right around the atoll for the first time and Koloi's first time. But for me, I said to the others, I was silently freaking out.
At the wind, at what the wind could do, whipping up the waves.
Whipping up the waves. Yes. If any, I wish I had a video to show all the brave surfers, hardcore surfers out there. They might be interested in seeing this particular spot on Nukunonu. Right.
So there are no planes out of the island directly. Why is that? Because you all flew in, didn't you? When you first came back from New Zealand, you flew there. You didn't do the big boat trip.
No, we went to Samoa on a flight and then hopped on boat.
So you've done that boat trip already?
Yes, yes.
Was it safe that day, Jipsy?
Yeah, on the trip to Samoa and back, I do get seasick, I have to admit. Yes, but when we went out fishing with a friend, I only had a few minutes session and then I was right. I think it was to do with more with the two-stroke petrol that the engine was putting out. Yeah.
Once you can fly out from Samoa, we will put out notifications through all our networks to say the Patelesios are coming home. And we can't do anything now until we know the dates. But we suspect there'll be a lot of people who want to come to the airport. And at least, just if you can walk through and just shake hands. We won't keep you too long because it could be a little bit overwhelming. But would that be all right if we had lots of people who want to be there? I've spoken to lots to just come and welcome you home at the Auckland airport. Would that be okay, Mahelino?
Like I said before, it didn't take me long to consider the situation when we do arrive. Since you were involved, we were looking forward to just catching a bus down to Danniverke. But hearing what you guys are trying to organize, yeah, I'm all with it. So whatever happens,
it'll be wonderful. And as soon as we know your dates, we can get those things out. So what we've got here in terms of the delays are Jipsy's passport, possible medical evacuations, delaying your getting on the boat to Apia. And then we have to have the flights from Apia. Now, one thing I'm going to ask all Kiwis, please can you pitch in and put in funds to the account that we'll put at the end here to help them with the flights. The flights are ridiculously expensive, aren't they, Mahelino?
Yeah, they are. They would be at this time. Anna showed me the thread of what you guys have put up online, and we went right through the whole. It just astounds me what people can do, what kind people can do.
I want to give real credit on that call out for funds to Rachel, a Kiwi woman who is in the Rotorua area, and she's just doing a stunning job, really pushing to get the money to get you home on the flights, no matter what they cost. And thank you, Rachel, but we will get you home. And more than that, the funds that are not used on the flights will help you set up your new life here. Do you see yourself here long term now, Mahelino? How does your beautiful Anna envisage it playing out?
I imagine I will be for staying in New Zealand a bit longer before I consider coming back. I'm actually looking forward to the fight of coming back already. But before that, I imagine we'll be staying in NZ for some time, years, to get to know the new community, how it pans out, and to fight the fight we need to win, basically.
You are such a warrior. Jipsy, what did you feel when you heard that Jacinda Ardern has resigned?
Felt relieved. Yeah.
I'll never forget that interview we did where you were desperate for help from this government here in New Zealand and the appeal you did. And as with so many other Kiwis who did those appeals to her or spoke to her in the interviews I've done, it all fell on deaf ears. I can't believe Mahelino as a leader, that as her popularity completely plummets, all she's doing is racing out the door. She should have stood her ground and said, no matter what, I chose to be this sort of leader and I must face the people at the next election and then I will leave. But the minute she got into zero minus actually popularity, she wanted to rush out the door. Mahelino, your feeling about Jacinda Ardern resigning?
Feeling I felt was, yes, good riddance. But after that, I can't imagine a different situation unless different people are there in the leadership.
Yes.
Because they all seem to be, there seems to be a whole string of so-called people that we tend to look up to doing the very same thing. But
Yes.
This obviously didn't happen overnight, and it's going to take a while to fight the fight.
You're magnificent, Mahelino. You're going to be, your family and you are going to be such a blessing to have back in New Zealand. We are so lucky. We are so lucky you're coming home. Jipsy, just tell me a couple of other things. I've seen images of you in the waters, swimming in the waters when it's really hot up there. Do you love all of that part of being up there? Are there aspects to it now that you're free that you can really enjoy?
Yes. Yeah. Swimming, mostly swimming. Going out to the outer islands with my dad and Gloy. Yeah, it's really fun.
What are the waters like? Are they warm or is it cooling to get in the sea?
It depends. Sometimes when it's sunny, the water is hot. When it's raining, the water is warm. Yeah.
Lastly, your mum, Anna, she is still that innate artist. She is such a wonderful artist. Her work is very, very beautiful. Is she doing lots of that art of hers that's helped heal her heart, Jipsy, since this terrible time you went through? Is she doing a lot of her beautiful work?
Yeah, she's doing a lot.
So now we ask for New Zealanders to get in behind our family up there in Tokelau and help you come home. And then we ask that once we put out the notifications, Kiwis are ready to jump in our cars, come to the airport, welcome you in, and then you have a little bit of time to reset before the great week at the beginning of March in Danniverke, when I believe Kiwis from all over New Zealand will be driving up to that land, that farmer's land, that private land, where we can remember the sadness, but also celebrate the beauty of the Freedom Village and equally celebrate our family, the Patelesios, coming home.
For now, Liz, I just want to thank you and all the supporters that are doing the running around for this wonderful festival coming up. We're really looking forward to meeting as many people we can on that occasion. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.